Do you have a brilliant startup idea but are stuck in the launching phase? Are you feeling overwhelmed by funding, marketing, or just where to start? Don't let your startup idea stay grounded. Visit our website at eapla.com to schedule a Blue Couch meeting and launch your startup journey today.
All right, welcome back. We're still in season 8. Got my co-host Matt Snyder back with me for season 8. And Matt, who are our guests today?
Man, I'm excited about this. We've got DJ Roman and Keith Haley from Sweet Caroline's Piano Bar. These are culture guys, Dave. Bringing something fun to do in our area. I'm looking forward to talking to you guys.
I haven't been there. I've heard a lot about it. You know, Julie that works in our office, she's pushing all of us, so I'm excited to hear it.
Okay, guys, so the first question I have, we've all been to great piano bars around the country. I mean, Pat O'Brien's is probably where a lot of us had our first piano bar experience. At this point, I've been to a lot of bad piano bars, a lot of chain piano bars. What made you take the leap? Why do you, in 2024, decide, or 2023, whenever you did, that you're going to open a piano bar in Shreveport or in Bossier City?
You want to lead?
Oh, go ahead.
All right. Well, so Keith and I had been thinking a long time about just starting a business together. We've been tossing around some ideas for quite a while, and some of them made no sense, and some of them were all right.
It's good that you saw that. I'm liking you already.
Listen, we still are throwing around lots of ideas. So, you know, one of the things that I like to do, and I'm going to be doing it in 2 weeks, is I like to travel. I love to travel with my wife. And so whenever I'm out of town, or whenever we've gone out of town with buddies and stuff like that, because we do a lot of trips and stuff, you know, I'm always looking for something to do, just like any other tourist. And inevitably, if I was in a market somewhere where there was a dueling piano bar, I was like, hey, man, let's go check that place out. Those are usually pretty fun.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right.
And so, you know, that kind of always resonated in the back of my mind. And one of the things that I've always struggled with, at least myself, because I'm getting very close to 50, is that there's a lack of, in my opinion, entertaining, fun options for things to do in Shreveport Bossier.
That's right.
And so, you know, I was like, well, you know, could we do something, you know, with a piano bar and provide another entertainment option? And, you know, so we just kicked that around, and first it was just ideas.
We kicked that around for a year. Like, we started with, that was like the first idea, because we went to a place called Willie D's up in Little Rock and loved it. I mean, and that was probably 15 years ago. We went up there and we were like, man, this would be so cool if it was in Shreveport or Bossier. But back then, we were always worried about how hard it would be to find the entertainment.
That's
the interaction.
Every time I've ever been in one, I'm like, but where would we, like in New Orleans, there's in Dallas,
so that was like always a worry. And then about a year before we started this idea, we talked about it, and like he said, we went through a couple bad ideas, and I was like,
well, do you have a problem drawing the talent? Let's go back to that.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem getting talent to come in?
It was quick. Like, we started posting our logo and what we were about. I mean, like he said, what's that saying you say about?
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah, that and like we tagged like with Willie D, and entertainers just started contacting us.
Yeah, I started scouting out other dueling piano bars pretty quickly, well before we even had the keys. But after we had signed off on the lease and we had made the official announcement, then I started doing just some slight social media posts. And one of the posts, or two of the posts that I did, I went back to Little Rock, to Willie D's, and visited, scouting, looking for, you know, if we were going to do a piano bar, what are some things that we like? What are some things that we don't like? What could we bring back here? Mm-hmm. And then I went to Pete's, which is on 6th Street in Austin, did the exact same thing a couple of weeks later. And so we just made some posts about, you know, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, that type of thing, right? Yeah. And so, I mean, it wasn't days, weeks. I just had players after players after players start reaching out to us.
So
I didn't have to find them.
how many of your players are local?
Zero.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I did a couple of events where I did dueling pianos at different
So you're bringing
and they
talent.
all came in,
they're all over the country.
Mm-hmm. Every week.
Every week, and playing in your piano bar.
Every single week.
So they come and stay how long?
Typically, we fly them in, or they drive in on Thursdays, and they head out on Sunday. So they stay Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then, like you said, they come in from all over the country. We've had them from all four corners and everywhere in
Colorado,
between.
Florida.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, that's awesome.
Yep.
And these people, they travel the country, so they're very well versed in different
Yeah,
parts of
because
the
I
country
tried
as well.
the first time I ever was going to try to do it, I called a bunch of my buddies that are good piano players, and I was like, hey, let's do a dueling piano, let's get another one, and y'all do it. And they were like, Matt, that's a different thing
Yeah.
than being a good piano player. You got to be able to put on that show.
It's a completely different animal to do that. There's a lot of good piano players, a lot of good singers in our area, in Shreveport Bossier.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. But it's a different thing altogether to be a singer, a piano player, can play the guitar, can play the drums,
Yeah.
is a comedian.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
go back and forth with the
Right.
crowd. And
Yeah.
that is something.
That's what makes it fun.
That's
when
what
it
really
is.
Yes,
gets it. If
and,
you can
Like you
interact
said, there's a
with
lot of talented people out there that can play the piano and maybe even sing, but can they banter with the crowd? Can they get the crowd involved and stuff like that? So there's those three things that really make that trifecta happen. And you can tell when somebody's a little bit shorter in one area than the other.
Right.
Sometimes they make it up in personality,
Yeah.
whether they can't play as well. And some of these songs, they play on the fly. You know, they got to have a very big
Cool.
like encyclopedia of all these songs.
So you're open what nights of the week?
We are now. Well, we just started opening up on Mondays. We were only open Wednesday through Saturday. We were doing karaoke's on Wednesdays and dueling pianos on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. Now we're open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We incorporated Monday Night Football, and also now we're doing trivia on Tuesdays. So we're open 6 days a week now.
Cool. And the dueling pianos are Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yes.
And that's when
Cool.
you're bringing the out-of-town talent.
Correct.
And how many people, what's a full house at Sweet Caroline's? How many people can you
In terms
fit
of
in?
players or in terms of the
Two
customers?
customers.
286.
Man,
So
that's,
you can
that's a
see-
big piano bar.
It's a decent
So
size
you
venue,
can
yes.
you
Yeah.
can seat 286. in
286 is our capacity.
That's
Yep,
what-
per the fire marshal. Yes, so we can seat that, and then we've had more because people come and go. When I mean, we've had nights where we had 50 to almost 100 people sitting outside waiting to get in.
Yeah.
So it's been some. There's
Now
been some
everybody
packers.
in the restaurant bar space has told us, hey, we can't hire employees. There's a shortage of employees. Have you encountered that?
No, I don't think we've really had trouble with that. Even in the very beginning stages, I mean, we had people coming in there and interviewing, and they were walking through trenches, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I always say, like, if you have a good product,
Yeah.
you don't have that hard time hiring. If you're the bottom of the industry, you probably have a hard time hiring, or you're paying, like, some of my guys, I represent like 20 clients in marketing, and some of my guys will be like, man, we can't get anybody. I'm like, well, what are you paying? And they tell me, and I'm like, well, you're $5 an hour under what everybody else is paying,
I'm a firm believer that if you want the best people, you got to pay them. But you also, I mean, there's a lot of things about our place that make it a cool place or a fun place to work. I mean,
Right.
the music aspect of it, the clientele. Our clientele is, I mean, they're on average 45. They got great jobs. They're just going out to have a lot of fun. There's not a lot of drama, and so
that was the biggest question that I think a lot of people were kind of waiting to see, and now people have come, and I'm hearing it more and more in meetings. Oh man, have you checked Sweet Caroline's out? And that's the number one thing they're telling me. That I'm like, well, what's the crowd like? And they're like, man, it was an awesome crowd. Like
and
you're out of town.
The other thing is back to the pay. It's not enough for us to pay them, but the majority of our staff work off of gratuities.
tips, yeah.
And so you're not going to keep them very long if they're not making any money.
Right.
And so thankfully, the folks that are coming in there with money, they don't mind spending and they don't mind tipping. And so they've been doing pretty good, our staff, in terms of tips. And so the people on the street hear about that from their friends. And so we don't have a hard time really finding people, and we don't really have a hard time keeping people. Thankfully, if it was the other way around, I could see where that could be a problem.
So how long have you been open now? When did y'all
months.
open?
December 21st. Thursday, December 21st last year. We actually wanted to open a little bit earlier. We were hoping to be open for the Independence Bowl, and things are what they are. We weren't able to get our state liquor license. And so, interesting, funny story. I was sitting on a couch on a Friday waiting for my state liquor license, and we ended up not being able to get it that day. And had we got it that morning, we would have been open a week prior. And so it was just, it was what it was.
Right.
And so we got it the next week, and we opened on December 21st, and so far so good.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
What's next for you guys? Okay, you've mastered the art of getting the entertainment. I mean, everybody's talking about you right now. What are y'all looking at doing next?
Well, in terms of the bar, I mean, it's been a constant. We have not even really got it to the place where it's. I don't know that we'll ever reach perfection, but we are trying to get it to a place where we consider it an excellent product. And so, where there's been constant improvements, even since the day that we opened. We always talk about there were these phases, and phase one was get the doors open so we can start making money.
Yeah.
All right. Phase two was make improvements or changes where they need to be made. But phase one and phase two overlap. I mean, well, phase one, get the doors open, but even before we got there was like, oh, we may need to fix this so we have been open almost a year and we are still making improvements, trying to make the product and the experience better for the customers. And so right now, two of the things that we're working on, in an effort to do that is we don't have food right now. So that's kind of a big issue for us, not having food. Not a huge issue because we've had food trucks that come in, but look, we're businessmen. We're trying to make money, and we want to, we want to make money off of food.
Right.
We also
right
want
now
to be able
we're
to give something else back as well. Another product that we offer ourselves and not have to rely on somebody else.
Right.
To do.
Yeah.
And so that's on the horizon coming very soon. And I mean, within days or weeks, we'll have video poker in there. So that's another source of revenue for us to make a few extra dollars, which I don't know of many dueling piano bars that have video poker machines. Yeah. And so it just provides another way to earn a few dollars.
Yeah.
So my question I was heading to is, you're 9 months in. How much time how often are you, one of the two of you, in that building when you're open?
Every day.
Yeah.
Most of the time we're both there.
Yeah.
We give each other little breaks here and there, but for the most part we're there.
That's another thing you hear people kind of like the staff thing, and they're like, man, my staff's doing this, I'm showing this, and I'm like, well, and they're like, I heard, and I'm like, well, how often are you there? And they're like, I'm in and out, and I'm like, well, there's a problem.
We live in that place, man.
You're working.
And I mean, but a lot of us living in there is looking for the tweaks.
That's right.
What can we improve?
You don't see that if you're...
Right.
No, we work out of it as an office during the day. So we go up there in the morning time, we start working out whatever we need to, looking over details, going over finance reports, all that. So we use that as our office as well, so we get to see everything day to day.
That's awesome.
And
what time do you close at night?
during the week, we close around 12, just with how the crowd kind of goes.
Right, yeah.
Friday and Saturday, we're posted till 2. We usually end up shutting up about 1:30, though.
Yeah.
It's usually kind of how the crowd kind of filters out.
Right, yeah.
So,
cool. So your audience, and I'm just so curious about all this. I know we talked about out-of-town people and traveling through people. What would you, if you just had to guess a breakdown of Shreveport, Bossier, out-of-town, what do you think that mix is looking like?
I don't know if we have a breakdown of that, but I will say, like, every weekend they start off with who's their first time being here, and I would say a good bit, half of the crowd is usually like, I haven't been here yet.
Yeah.
We got our regulars that we do see weekly, but yeah, there's a new crowd in there almost every week.
Well, you said when we were talking, you had someone from Tampa in there that was here to go to the casinos, and they heard about you and they went.
Well, actually, the group that was here, this was actually last night. The group from Tampa was an interesting. A kid was here. He was graduating. I don't want to call him a kid. He's younger than me. He was graduating from LSU Shreveport with his MBA, but he did it all online. But he's walking, so they flew in for the graduation. So because they were here in town, they were looking for something to do. Him and his buddies ended up at our place last night. But they were all from Tampa, Florida. Never been to Shreveport, Bossier in his life, has a degree from LSU Shreveport, an MBA, and came to our place. And so
a couple weeks ago, we had that couple that flew in because they knew one of the players.
They just followed the
Toronto,
player,
like on their Facebook, and they knew where they were going, and they flew here. Yeah, we had another one from Toronto. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
So,
Wow, you're really putting Shreveport on the map. I love that.
We're trying, man. It's a constant battle. So.
Oh, it is.
Trying to revive
so
the
you're
boardwalk.
paying these so it's very similar to hiring bands.
Very similar.
You're basically, but you can book them for 3 night, basically a 3-night stint.
The players are our biggest expense by far. Like you said, they come in from all over the country. We have a guy that helps us with that But yeah, it's like booking a band 3 nights a week.
Yeah.
Do they have? Do a lot of them have agents? Are you working through agents, or most of them are individuals?
They're almost like their own little family. Like they all end up knowing each other
Yeah.
for the most part.
Oh wow!
I started
Yeah.
doing
Is there
with
a
them one time
competition
yeah.
for this someplace where you have the battling piano, bar entertainers?
I haven't heard of it, but
No, I know that a lot of the other places have their, what we call them, house like players
Yeah.
that they stay at that place, especially probably 1 or 2 that are like their full-time
Yeah,
employees
yeah.
almost.
Right.
And word gets around. I think we were because we look around at other people and what they do, follow similar suits and try to tailor make it to this area. And I think one of the other ones maybe had trolled us a little bit and had a Sweet Caroline's drink. And their drink menu, I was like, that's funny.
I love it. Well, guys, this has been incredible. Thanks for coming. Best of luck, and I promise you, I'm going.
Yeah, we're coming soon.
Thanks
We're
so
coming.
much.
All right.
cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
you.
y'all for having us.
Dude, thank y'all.
Awesome.
Enjoy the podcast? We would love your feedback about today's show and who you think should be our next guest. Send us an email at info@eapla.com. Also, be sure to share the show and leave a comment on our social media post.